Hey, it's Kath Knowlton from The Wellness Tree, and today we are diving deep into The Mermaid, and The Mermaid is stage 4 of the alcohol freedom journey. If you've missed the other videos, don't worry, they're all in the guide section, or if you're watching on YouTube, you will find these in a playlist. I have been working through these stages for the last 10 years. I haven't spent all of the 10 years in all of those stages, but I want to share with you really in these stages how you too can move through cycles of grey area drinking. If you're currently starting, stuck in that, am I drinking, am I not? Or you want to be all in, you are definitely going to want to hear this video. Now, The Mermaid is all about emotional sobriety and soul-led living. And this is what the Wellness Tree is rooted in. The Wellness Tree is my own methodology that I use with my clients. I use it on myself. I walk it every day. It's just part of who I am and how I live. And this is really aligned with what I call the paradise lifestyle, which is something we create within. It's that state of steadiness, inner peace, grounded, calm, focused, happy, joyful, present, soul-aligned living. And whatever's going on in the external world, whatever challenges we're navigating through in our own lives, we're able to tap into this place within that we have to create ourselves. And we can then, from this place, we can feel anchored in our days. We can actually create the on-track days that we want to create. We can actually make alcohol not a thing anymore. And we can be all of who we came here to be. So the Mermaid stage, I've got a ton of notes here. I could literally talk about this mermaid for the rest of my life. But I'm trying to condense this into the essentials for you, and I'm going to try really hard to not go off track. So this stage is really the stage where everything changes. And for me, in my own journey, I started my alcohol freedom journey 10 years ago, 11 years this year, this September. And it was a simple moment in my kitchen where I was about a few weeks into not drinking. For the final time, I thought, right, this is it. I've really got to do this now. And I had a huge craving. It was like, oh, I just really want to go and buy a bottle of wine right now. It was a sunny day. I'd been sitting in my garden. It was really lovely, and much like the weather is right now in the UK, gorgeous, warm spring weather. And I thought to myself, oh, I could just so easily get in the car, drive down to the garage, go and buy that wine. I'll start Monday. It's no big deal. I just need to get this out of my system. Anyone here resonate? Drop me a yes if you resonate with this. I know I'm not alone with this. And I thought to myself suddenly, because I was aware of the thinking, I was getting wrapped up in that thinking. I was like, But hang on, said this new voice. That's what you always do. That's the cycle you always do. You go and buy wine, you have this party for one, you buy the junk food, because for me, I was also navigating a sugar eating binge addiction. That was the original thing running the show. And when I stopped drinking, I started hitting the sugar even more, which is so common. It's so typical with grey area drinking. And I thought, well, that's what I always do. And this voice said to me, the only way is through. If you really want to break this cycle, if you really want to stop drinking and you want to make it stick and you want to stay stopped, you are going to have to break this cycle. And this is the hard truth that we all need to hear. And it's what we don't want to hear, is it? Because at the end of the day, I loved my wine. I was a red wine drinker. It was Merlot. That was my thing. It was my best friend. It was fun. It was everything until it wasn't. And I wasn't an end of spectrum alcoholic drunk on the floor. I was just a merry drinker, but drinking had become a daily habit. A bottle of wine in the evenings was just what I was doing for ages. And it was slowly taking my time, my energy, my money, and just starting to become, if I hadn't caught it then, I'm sure I would have been down a really, really slippery slope. And really, it was a wake-up call from my new husband. We'd literally been married just a couple of weeks. He'd already been through his whole health journey with having a heart transplant, which is when my relationship to alcohol changed from one of fun to one of, oh my God, how are we going to cope with this? What's going to happen? And I'd already got a history of huge anxiety, panic attacks. I was passing out, I was fainting, couldn't be present. And so wine became that coping mechanism for me. So in that kitchen moment, it was like, well, Kath, you can go buy wine if you want. There's nothing stopping me. And that's the thing. It's really easy, isn't it? It's really easy to do this. And I thought, hang on. And then this new wave of curiosity took over. And I suddenly had this new thought, and it was, I know the version of me that always caves in, that always self-sabotages, that always goes back to day one, that has the guilt, the shame, the anxiety and the night sweats and feeling rubbish about myself. You know, professional on the outside, slapping a smile on my face and pretending everything's okay, but holding this heavy secret, feeling ashamed. I know that version of myself. I don't know the version of me that actually just keeps going. And I thought to myself, what if I prove to myself that actually I can do hard things, I can feel discomfort, I can fall in love with finding out who the hell I am and who am I without my addictions. I'd never ever known that person. And I thought to myself, well, the only way I'm going to do this, I had the awareness to see what I was currently doing was not going to get me there. And there is actually already within us. So I had to, in that moment, understand that what I needed to do was to create a whole new identity, a whole new way of thinking, a whole new way of being, a whole new way of different habits, surrounding myself with different people, and finding my tribe and all of that. And in that moment, I felt hope. Because I could see it was possible, and I knew it was possible because I knew other people had stopped drinking. I'd been surrounding myself in other sober groups and things like that. They didn't really feel that aligned to me because I had this surge of something came up within me that was like, right, I am going to do this. I'm going to prove to myself I can do this. And I'm going to prove to everyone around me that I can do this. And I decided to really go for it, and I started it as doing a challenge, actually, a no drinking challenge for, I think it was 30 days. And I decided to raise money for the hospital that helped my husband, that gave him his heart transplant. And I was doing it in the memory as well of the donor and her family who helped us. And I thought, let me give something back. Let me just see if I can do this. And I wasn't looking too far ahead, but I was just really, really focused in the moment. And that's where not only the wellness tree started to be birthed, but I realised, looking back now, so that was, nearly 11 years ago, I realised that actually it was this mermaid energy. I call it this mermaid energy because it's very, it's tied up in with our emotions, it's very watery, it's very flowy, and it's where most people don't want to go. So this is really about a big identity shift in this stage. The mermaid is not someone who's just trying to stop drinking. She's not struggling. She's not white knuckling her way through it like the swimmer, the stage before, stage 3. If you haven't watched that video, I did that last week. Go and have a look at that one. She is just going with the flow. Now the thing is, she understands that this isn't a quick fix. She actually has to treat this like an adventure where she gets to play and explore, and she has to be okay with not having it all figured out. She has to be okay with, let me just try this thing. If she has a drinking experiment, that's okay. And I'm not encouraging you to go out and have one. But that's something that happened to me in the early stages of my sober journey. There were a few drinking experiments. There was one after the first year of not drinking at all, because I thought, that's okay, I can go back to moderating. Now I've got this, I'm okay. And I tried that and it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And I then did another whole year sober. At the end of that year, exactly the same thing happened again. And then I had probably another couple of mini experiments. And then the last alcohol that I actually had, the last few drinks of alcohol I had, was 6 years ago, when I lost my lovely dad so suddenly. He died so suddenly and unexpectedly, and it literally shook me to my core. And I hadn't yet learnt to navigate sobriety and feel grief. So again, I got back on track and I haven't had any alcohol since. And that's where I have dived even deeper into this beautiful mermaid energy. I had a mentor that really spoke some wise words that landed for me. And he said to me, we were talking about emotions and feeling, and he said to me, don't be scared of the dark. Don't be scared of the dark. And I thought to myself, what if we can just play in the dark and just know that it's safe? We have to create our own safety within. That's where we really need to work with our nervous system and support our nervous system and get this baseline safety so that we feel safe to feel. And that's something that we do in Strong Roots, because this is so essential to be able to even feel, to be able to even do this. Because I was very disassociated from my body. I had a really, really difficult and traumatic childhood where it wasn't safe for me to be present in the present moment, at home, at school. Lots of traumatic things going on. And coming to this work from that place took me years, actually, of trying to get some kind of base level safety. And I worked with different mentors. I did a lot of work on my own. I had somatic therapy, all kinds of things. And I was so fortunate because I was able to have specialist grey area drinking coaching. I learnt how to work with grey area drinkers, with nervous systems. Not just that. I also learnt from another coach about the energetics, soul energetics, so that we can really learn to support ourselves from all different lenses, because the wellness tree is actually about supporting ourselves, all of ourselves. It's really holistic, and it's not just about mindset, it's not just about the body, it's not just about our energy fields, it's everything, it's literally everything. So over the last 11 years, I have been adding to the wellness tree, and it's something that's growing with me. It's not done, it's growing with me. And you have access to your own inner wellness tree. And the beautiful mermaid is really understanding that she needs to root in. In fact, this actually comes to us in the swimmer stage, because the swimmer is missing structure. She is coming at this from a very logical place. And the mermaid is coming at this from a logical and a feeling and an energetic and an everything place. So we need strategy, we need a system to hold us. This is what I call the root system of our tree. And this is something we create within. And this is what we create by getting into this feeling energy. The thing that really comes up for us on this journey is the feeling, it's the emotions, it's the cravings, it's being able to sit in silence with our stuff coming up, with feeling uncomfortable, and holding ourselves through that. This is the challenge. So we need tools, we need structure. And there's so much information out there, there's so many tools, there's so many things, you can just Google it. There's everything for everybody. And what I found for me is that it was so overwhelming, all of this information. The real work for me was just finding what worked for me, and for you too. What do you resonate with? Because every nervous system is different. Every soul is unique. What works for one person may not work for someone else. And so with this mermaid, we get to explore things. Now, cravings, if you want a free tool for cravings, drop the word cravings in the comments and I will send you something. I've got a couple of things. I'm going to send you one thing and see how you go with it. If you want a little taste of, this is the kind of work we do in Strong Roots. But instead of reacting, we need to really meet these cravings. We need to feel them, and they have a message. Our cravings are messengers. So this is how we work with this power of the present moment. Now, to do this, we need to be able to slow down. We will feel resistance about slowing down. We will feel resistance about feeling, but we need to be able to do this. To bring this into a really practical example for you, I was in town the other day, and before I was in town, I'd given a training to Strong Roots. We did a really gorgeous deep dive session on creating a freedom plan, which is exactly what we have to have in place. This is what our mermaid has in place, so that she can create on-track days her way. And your freedom plan is going to look really personal to you. So I had done this training, it was amazing. And we had planned, my husband and I had planned, we were going to have a takeaway that evening. We were going to have an Indian. So I set off in my car, and suddenly, out of the blue, which is what happens, this thought came into my head about cake. Now, if you don't know, I have been working on my sugar freedom journey, and I have been working on that for the last 10 years. And I've come to a place now where I don't have food noise anymore. It's just not a thing. But I have to be really mindful because it probably could be a thing. So I've got in my own freedom plan, it's now tailored towards sugar freedom, and I have specific structures in place to support me. Now, I had planned I wasn't going to have any cake, and what I'm working with is the same as what we can do with not drinking. Some people are drinking less, some people are not drinking right now, so take this, you know, if this triggers you, just move past it. And also you can do the work on it, because triggers are invitations to do that deeper feeling work. And what are the messages popping up for you? But I had said to myself, you know, I can have cake, it's not banned, that's what I'm working with. I'm around like 95% sugar free. However, this cake thing popped up and I was thinking, is that a conscious choice, or is that an addiction popping up? I was holding this energy of, wow, that was an amazing training. I was still in that place. My body, my energy was still in that place of that gorgeous training. And I had to transition. I had to transition to, now we're going to town to buy the takeaway. And this needs to be part of our freedom plan. If you're working on drinking less, if you're working on drinking none, if you're wanting to be alcohol free, this is how this mermaid energy can really help us with transitions. So having a plan within your freedom plan to transition, to flow into the next stage of your day. And if we're not careful, we can get so hooked up in our mind, can't we? And it's easy to let that go somewhere like a little puppy wandering off. And it will get into all kinds of trouble, right? That's what happens. So we need these structures to support us. So I felt this trigger. It's the same if it was wine. I would feel it. I found myself, I was in Waitrose having a look around the shelves thinking, oh, I could buy some cake. Now, shall I buy this? Shall I buy that? I was like, do I actually want it? Do I really, really want it? And it was a no. Actually, I don't. And so it's learning to work with these things. But I had to really slow down in that moment, in the shop. This is where we need to be doing the work in our environment. Whether we are in our home with our loved ones, our families and relationships and conversations, whether we are out in the town shopping, wanting to stick to our shopping list and not get sidetracked by the wine aisle. How are you feeling when you do that? What thoughts are you thinking? Are you really focused? Because I always put myself in a focused mindset before I go shopping. And this involves not thinking. It's, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. I'm going there, it's done. When I come home, it's another transitioning moment. What am I going to do when I come home? I'm going to sit and have tea. I'm going to, I don't know, put some washing on. I'm just going to do whatever. And in the early days of sobriety, it is actually about holding yourself. We are creating the structures. And the mermaid stage already has these structures in place. These are the masculine energetic structures. These are things like your freedom plan, broken down into your daily action plan, broken down into your daily rituals, broken down into your mini habits, checking in with yourself. Now, all of these need to really be anchored in feeling, checking in with yourself. How am I feeling? And also getting the feedback from your habits, your rituals and routines. There's so much more I can say on that. That is all the stuff that we're working on in Strong Roots. Having a plan, having rituals, nervous system support, real practical support, working with your energetics, all of these things going on. And that's why we have the wellness tree, because it's laid out so that you can see this. You can see in your branches your different life areas that you need to be focusing on, which help you to create that really strong root system. So the key things with the mermaid, she has her anchor, which is her freedom plan. She knows where she's going. She knows what she wants to create, whether that's taking a break from drinking, whether that's long-term sobriety, or just kind of not too sure, but you know, it's anchored in nervous system support. It's anchored in creating that safety within. It's anchored in her vision. It's anchored in her identity. Who is the real her? How does she want to be showing up? How does she want to be thinking? And literally ask yourself this. Put it in the comments. Let's share. I want to know from you. I would love to know. How do you want to be thinking? If you could wake up tomorrow as the version of you that you really want to be, and there's no reason why you can't, there's nothing stopping you, that's freedom. What would you be doing? What would you be thinking? We can really paint a picture here. And so to do that, we need to first of all know what's not working, what feels heavy, what's taking your focus, what's taking your time and your energy, what is underneath your drinking, what's driving it. Is it stress? Is it that you need soothing and you need comfort? Do you need stability? Do you need safety? What do you need? What do you want? What is in your heart's desire? What are you longing for? And we can start to plant these seeds and start nourishing and nurturing these seeds and watering them, so that we can do the things that we want to be doing. So really, we are clearing what no longer serves. We are creating space for what wants to come in. And we are planting these seeds. And in this mermaid stage, she is committed. She is devoted. That doesn't mean she's all or nothing, black and white perfectionist, which is what I was and so many can relate to. She's self-led, but she's not controlling. She's present, but she's not escaping. She trusts herself. Even if she wobbles off track, it's no big deal, because she just knows how to bring herself back on track. And all of the failures, all of the wobbles, they are adding to her superpower. This is building something I call soul wealth. Soul wealth is the inner abundance that we all have. Our soul wants to grow. So every choice that we make can either add to or distract from our inner health bank account. So all the healthy, on-track, soul-aligned choices that you make today, no matter how small they are, they will be adding to your soul wealth, inner health. And what that means is you are growing your self-mastery, you are adding huge self-worth to yourself, you're adding to your confidence, you're giving evidence to your brain that actually you can do this. Doesn't need to be perfect. There's power in the small. And all of these small things are actually really huge things. Sometimes it's the smallest win that feels like the most difficult. They're all adding, and what I like to talk about is putting weight. If you imagine some old-fashioned weighing scales, and you've got your old identity one end, that's the version of you that you want to move away from, with the habits and the cycles that don't feel good anymore. And you want to add weight to the new identity at the other end, the true version of you. All of these little habits and choices are like the weights. Do you remember the old-fashioned weights that you used to get? Well, every choice is a weight, and we can either add weight to that old self, and we get heavier and we get heavier and we get heavier and just feel like, oh, and this is where we're, stuck in those cycles again. Or we can do what feels really difficult and really uncomfortable, because growth isn't comfortable. But we can add weight to that new identity, and it's like building a muscle, because the more that we do it, keep our head out of it, keep the emotions out of it, keep the drama out of it. This is just what we do now. This is really Mermaid. This is how we embody the new identity. We add all of this weight, and that old self falls away. And so then the scales become two ends of who we are now. And then the trick is to always notice the space in the middle, which is how balanced we feel. And that is where we can really do this in the Mermaid stage, because we're working with our masculine and our feminine energy. So the masculine is the structure, the doing, the goals, etc., the holding, the supporting. It's like, I've got you. It's like the riverbed holding the river. And then we got the feminine energy, which is like the river, the water, the sea. And we can be that mermaid. We can dive deep, knowing that we have that structure to hold us. It's safe to feel. And the feminine is all about receiving and creation. It's that gorgeous creation energy. It's about finding the pleasure, the fun, the play, the joy, the expansion. So when life starts to feel heavy, if you feel stuck, if you feel fed up, frustrated, it's all about taking a little action. This is where we need to start moving. Because when we are feeling fed up, frustrated, stuck, it's like dirty water. It's like a stagnant bog. And you're like walking through with your wellies, and it's like, oh, this feels so hard. This feels so hard. That's when we need to, I actually recommend drinking plenty of water, because that really helps with our energy levels. It really helps us to, it helps the emotions to flow in our body. And on a molecular level, we are 99% water beings anyway, which is why this mermaid, all these sea archetypes, the toe dipper, the swimmer, the mermaid, that's why they feel maybe not logically to you, but our soul understands this. And this is where we can work then with our wellness tree, getting that internal root system absolutely rock steady inside. So just to summarize, I mean, there's so much more I could say about this. It's a huge rabbit hole to go down. And basically from this training, in a nutshell, just know that we need to feel our emotions. Feeling is the secret to emotional sobriety. Feeling our emotions, but we're not being driven by them. We're not, we need to be emotionally sober. We need to be emotionally responsible. Take a look at the work by Byron Katie. She does this thing called The Work. It's totally free. And this will really help you. And we do this work, deeper work as well, different work with our emotions inside Strong Roots. Because we need to have a balanced approach. And we need to create a freedom plan that feels balanced. And I help you do this in Strong Roots. It needs to include structure for feeling, structure for creating routine and rhythm in your days, so that you can create an on-track day, so that you can create many on-track days. And they may be imperfect, and that's okay. And so emotion is energy in motion. And it's information. These emotions contain information that we get to explore and process. And don't be afraid of the dark. And if you feel that you need extra kind of professional support with this, with any traumas, any really like big stuff that's been going on for you, get that support in place, whether that's counselling or therapy. Try it if you need it. It's not something that I have ever had. I did so much of this work just with my journal and just working through stuff and just brain dumping, and there's so many in talking as well with others in our community. This isn't the work to do alone. We definitely need community, and that's why we have Strong Roots. That's why we have this free community. We have my Strong Roots membership. Come and join. You can try it for a while. You can join. You can cancel anytime. We've got community. We have the structure. I'll show you how to create a freedom plan. This is brand new training. I've literally just done this week. So come and join now and let's do this. Let's break these cycles together. And then we can get and create our paradise lifestyle. And it's just magical. It's magical. Sending you so much love. Pop in the comments below if you want the details of Strong Roots. Put the word details. If you want that free cravings tool, pop the word cravings and I will send it to you. Questions, comments, let me know. And feel free to connect in Messenger as well, because I love to hear from you. Sending so much love, gorgeous souls. Have an amazing rest of the day or evening ahead. Bye.